Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living, with me, Mark Candelaria. I am an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I am the founder and now partner of a fabulous 20-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. We have hosted tours over the last 20 years to Italy, Spain, and soon Napa. And in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. We are excited to now be in our second season, and our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture to all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. So sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Welcome, everyone, to our podcast, Inspiring Living. I'm Mark Candelaria. A happy April 15th to everyone, and tax day. Well, I think it's tax day. Well, maybe, I don't know. I think they extended it to May 15th. Who knows for sure? I can't keep up anymore. Anyway, here we are, mid-April already, and spring has sprung, and we have a fun podcast today with one of Isabel and my good friends and a very talented gentleman, Mr. John Roark, who is the editor-in-chief of Phoenix Home and Garden magazine, and he is going to tell us about this year's garden tour, which is this Saturday. Yes, 2 days away, so get your tickets now, and he will give you all of the details in the podcast, and we will have the link in our episode notes. Okay, so here we go.
Well, I'm very excited to share some time on today's podcast with two special people. First, I have Phoenix Home and Garden magazine editor-in-chief and good friend, John Roark. And then I also have interior designer and my lovely bride, Isabel Dellinger Candelaria, here with us, all by Zoom, as I am still in the Oregon Pinot wine country, working, of course, on the fine-tuning of our soon-to-be set Candelaria Oregon Pinot Tour, which I think we're going to schedule for May of 2022. So we'll see what happens. So stay tuned for that. We'll see if we can pull together. I'm still not sure if Italy's going to happen. I guess we're supposed to get some determination on April 30th from the Italian government, what their situation is in terms of travelers and visas. So we'll know more after that. But I'm kind of losing faith that it's going to happen this year. So we may have to come up with some alternatives. Maybe we collaborate with Phoenix Home and Garden on some kind of fun tour somewhere. What do you think, John?
I love that idea. Love it.
So welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we were able to put this together.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always, I always love talking with you guys, and this is a real treat for me. So thank you.
Yep. And Isabel, I see you're there in your studio at home. How's it going this morning?
I'm doing better.
Good.
I'm still recovering a little bit from my sinus infection, which is why I'm not with you, obviously, in Oregon, but getting better. I'm on the mend.
That's good. Okay, today we're going to talk about a couple Phoenix Home and Garden events and features that Isabel and I are involved with. First, Isabel and her Earth and Images team and our Candelaria design team have a wonderful home featured in this month's issue. But before we get to that, John, you have a fabulous event set for this coming weekend where we have a Candelaria design home featured. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have our annual spring garden tour, which is this Saturday, April 17th. And we've got 6 houses on the general admission ticket and 1 additional house on the VIP ticket. And one of the houses that everyone can see is this Candelaria house, which is really spectacular. It's right golf course adjacent. You step in. I mean, the front yard is beautiful as it is, and a perfect integration of architecture and landscape by Jeremy McVickers with Refined Gardens. But then you go into the backyard, and it's one of those jaw-dropping, holy cow moments where you've got, first of all, this incredible poolscape, beautiful backyard, beautifully landscaped, beautiful house, and then spread out before you, just beyond the edge of the pool, is a golf course, and then beyond that is the north side of Camelback Mountain. So it's just one of those really spectacular landscapes.
It's gorgeous. So one of my curiosity factors on this tour, and in particular this house, is I'm curious how you're moving people from the curb at the street to that backyard. How you doing that? Or can you give that away?
Well, it's just, I mean, there's plenty of adjacent street parking, and then there's just like a little bit of a walk from the front to the backyard. So we have people there just to guide you to make sure you don't get lost along the way.
You're not going through the house; you're going around the house.
Correct. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, the inside's pretty spectacular too, and we won't talk about that today. But I know the outside and the gardens are just fabulous, and like you said, that view is just killer. So.
And actually, that is a garden that Jeremy showed me last year, a year ago, when we were scouting for we did a fall tour, and actually I think I saw it a year ago, spring, and I can't remember why we didn't include it on that tour. I think that the landscape was a little bit new at that point. We were just going to give it a year for it to all grow in, and when I saw it this year, it's perfect.
Yeah, it makes it. It's amazing what 1 year does make in terms of the difference. So. And I think you're timing it just right before the winter ride dies out and the harshness of summer approaches us. So I think it's going to look.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what we love about this time of year. I mean, gardening, as you know, in the Southwest is different than anywhere else in the world, probably. But the spring, when everything is blooming, and before the heat sets in, after the chill of winter, even though we don't have it very bad out here. April is like that sweet spot on the calendar when everything is at its most beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. So you had 6 houses on the tour, you said?
Correct. Yes, we have a general admission ticket, which includes 6 houses, and they're in Paradise Valley, Arcadia, Scottsdale, Phoenix, and we've got a wide range of gardens that show everything that can be done here in the Southwest. So we've got incredible poolscapes, we've got xeriscapes, we've got kind of more formal English gardens, everything along the spectrum. And then we found another garden that's really special this year that the homeowners purchased the residence from a reclusive but well-known artist who had lived there for, I think, 35 years. And he created this, I hate to use the word jungle in the backyard, but it was this incredibly overgrown space with paths and statues. And the homeowners bought it, and they've been clearing it out. And I think the homeowner told me they found more than 50 sculptures hidden in there that they didn't even know were there. And there are peacocks. And anyway, it's wow. It's a little bit of a change of pace for us on that one, but definitely needs to be seen.
That sounds awesome. Okay, so tell us a little bit. I'm going to jump around here. Tell us how we get the tickets and Sure. How does the tour work, basically?
Sure. It's a self-guided tour, meaning that you go at your own pace and you go in whatever order you wish. And the tickets are available at phgmag.com. /garden tour. And as I mentioned, there's a general admission ticket, which is $75. The hours for the tour are from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, this is next Saturday, April 17th. And then we've got a VIP ticket, which I believe is $150. And that one starts with brunch at the Hermosa Inn, and you cannot beat that. Nope. And then you have the access to the 6 general admission houses, and then there is one additional house at the end of the day from 3 to 5, and that's a really beautiful contemporary Brent Kendall house, landscaped by Russ Gree, and incredible poolscape, mountain backdrop. Another one of those heart attack residences that you don't want to miss. And like I said, it's a self-guided tour. You just kind of set your own course. The day of the tour, you are given a guidebook, and you also receive an email that has all the locations of the houses, and you just kind of set your own course and plan your day and just spend as much time as you'd like at each residence. We've also got an amazing rest stop home that is accessible to us courtesy of Russ Lyon Realty, and this is another one of those houses that I think it's in Paradise Valley, and if you walk by it or drive by it, you think, oh, holy cow, what what is that? And then to go in it, and you can actually walk through this entire house. It is not currently being lived in, but amazing house. And then the grounds also are available too. So that's a good place to stop and refuel. There will be snacks there, restrooms, things like that.
That's great. Well, it sounds like great diversity on this tour, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. We, as I mentioned earlier, we always have had the tour in April, and last April, a year ago, obviously there were some challenges, so we pulled that off the books and pivoted to November, which is when we usually have our home tour. And it was fun because we got to show gardens in an autumn setting, which is an entirely different ballgame than the spring setting. But people were so excited, I think, just to have somewhere to go and someplace to be outside and something to do. We did have masks were required, as they are on this tour, and people were very respectful of social distancing. And it was just a picture perfect day. We didn't have any issues or anything. People were just out enjoying. So I'm optimistic that this one will be even better.
Yeah, I think so. I think people are definitely ready to get out. I'm staying in this hotel here in Oregon, and I don't know if you can hear the phone ringing off the hook behind me, but it's been going crazy. I've been listening to them at the front desk, and they're already completely full for the summer. And so I think the getting out and travel bug is hitting everybody for sure. So,
oh yeah, definitely. I think we've all gone a little stir crazy in the last 12 months.
So how long have you guys been doing this garden tour? How many years?
You know, that is a good question, and I was trying to look that up before our call. We've been doing it at least, I believe, 30 years. Yeah. And one of the cool things about it is that every year we see a lot of the same people. A lot of people will come in from out of state. Like I know there's a couple from New York that comes in. We see them every year. There's a group of ladies that I believe are from South Dakota. They plan their vacations around this event and make it kind of an annual pilgrimage, which means a lot to us. And it's just so fun to reconnect with them every time.
Yeah, that's great. I think I'm pretty sure you have lots of readership around the country. And
we do.
Great. I mean, it definitely brings a lot of clientele and prospects to us all the time. So we greatly appreciate that. You probably hear the phone ring. I'm telling you, it's ringing off the hook back there. It's going crazy. So yeah, I think we're going to try to go, aren't we, Isabel?
Yeah, we are for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love the diversity. I mean, just the fact you got a Candelaria home and a Brett Kendall home. You're seeing the whole gamut of everything on this tour, sounds like.
Oh, definitely. And the landscapes are by seriously the best, brightest talents in the Valley working today.
Awesome.
I saw the peacocks on your Instagram at the magazine, and that made me really want to go.
Yeah, that peacock is named Kevin, and that's when I was telling you about where the homeowners have been unearthing statuary and all kinds of things in this backyard. So I don't know if Kevin will be there on the tour, but that's where he lives, definitely.
Okay, cool.
Now, your cousin Jared's coming to town, right? Isabel, is he joining us on the tour?
Yes.
Okay.
Jared and my mom, I think both.
Good. Well, we'll
beautiful.
Fun day then. So real quick, I just want to send a special thanks to our clients who opened up their home for this tour. They're very, very special people, and I just wanted to thank them for doing that. Okay, so let's talk about the story featured in the current issue. It's a home that Isabel and I collaborated on, the Sharapo residence in Chandler. And Isabel, you and I jumped on board on this project while it was kind of under construction. I had done some conceptual design some 10 years earlier. And all of a sudden, Jill calls and says, "We need your help right now. We're framing and we're not liking the way this is turning out." And I had not been involved in what they were doing in phase 2. I had given them some rough sketches, and they had hired somebody to draw up, kind of what they thought I was thinking of, I guess. And then she goes, you got to get involved. And I said, well, if I do, I need to bring Isabel on board too, so that we can do this fast and get it done right. Remember that, Isabel?
I sure do. It was kind of at emergency status. Yeah. There were like some emergency meetings, and we just got started right away. And it couldn't have been, at a more pertinent time as far as where they were at, because I feel like, it just came out so beautifully. Whereas if they had kept going on that path, they wouldn't have necessarily had what they ended up with. So
they definitely would not have had a groin vault ceiling in the kitchen. That's for darn sure.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
So John, you got to see this house. What caught your eye on this project?
This is one of those residences that, as is often the case, if not 100% of the case, when it's a Candelaria home, it's like you walk in, it's like the mouth drops open, and this definitely fit the bill as far as that goes. The incredible landscape by Jeff Berghoff, but I think what really caught my eye on this one, and Isabel and I are dorks about detail together. I think that's what we first bonded over at one of the properties that you had done, and like that groin vault ceiling in the kitchen, which I believe was inspired by the homeowner's travels to Italy, if I recall correctly. That is just amazing. And then just every detail, everywhere you look, it's beautiful and lovely, but it's also functional, and it's a good family home, and that shows. And I also love that their love of travel kind of drove decisions in the interior design.
Yeah. Well, I think as we've gotten to know them both over the years, they both love to travel, as you just mentioned, but they also love to cook and enjoy family time together. And those are things that we're obviously very passionate about. So it was really easy to just clue into where they wanted to go at this house and just merge with their thinking and then make it all come alive. So once Isabel got involved, it really blossomed into the full design. I was focused on the ceilings and the spaces and trying to get things aligned and working. But then Isabel started adding all the wonderful detail to all those spaces. So Isabel, what were some of the highlights for you and the Earth and Images team with this home?
I mean, working with Jill was just so much fun because she loves design, I think, as much as I do. And so she had so much of her own personal things that she had been wanting to incorporate into this remodel. So that's always really inspiring for me too, is, using what people have and using what they love. And just because she has traveled to Europe so much, like we were on the same page as a lot of that inspiration. And then just the whole practicality of it being a family home. I mean, we're so lucky that a lot of our projects are for families and, not regular by any means, but day-to-day life, that family is having an amazing experience.
Yeah. So one of the funny,
and I love what it's going to do for their girls having that experience, because they were actually, I worked one-on-one with them for each of their suites. And so they kind of already know now when they grow up what it's like to live in an atmosphere that really energizes you and reflects your insides, which is so important.
Yeah. So
I also love we included in the story a quote from the homeowner about how that incredible staircase would be great for prom photos. I thought that was
great. So I've got to stop you guys right there. Okay. So here's a good story. All right. So Isabel worked with all three girls on designs of their bedrooms and their suite, and obviously with Jill on the whole house. And then my daughter, Sophia, she calls me one Saturday morning and she goes, "Dad, I need you to come pick me up." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, where are you?" She says, "Well, I'm staying at a friend's house down in Chandler." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, what's the address?" So she gives me the address and I go, "Oh, that address sure sounds familiar." So I kind of start thinking, I go, let me go look. I look at my Dropbox and sure enough, I go, "Oh, that's what house this is. This is the Scirocco residence." So I send her a couple pictures from my Dropbox and I go, "Is this where you're at?" And she goes, "Dad, that's creeping me out. Where are you? Where are you taking these pictures? I said, I designed this house with Isabel. She goes, oh, are you kidding me? I thought this was really cool. I was like, I wonder who did this. I said, well, I did. So it was pretty funny.
That's
and
so
then,
funny.
You've met the daughter. Now they hang out together. They're best friends. And it's just funny how these things all kind of come full circle sometimes. So anyway, we're trying to coordinate a time to get together and do some cooking there at their house, because that's always one of our shticks, is to get over there and do some cooking with them. So we'll try to get that and get all the girls together. And it's just to me, it's just really fun how that all came about. So then I know Berghoff was involved in this house too. And I wasn't even aware of that, John, until I read your article, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they must have hired Jeff independently, and I could tell by the pictures. I remember looking at the photos and going, wow, this turned out way better than I was expecting. And then I go, oh, well, Berghoff did it. Well, that answers all of that. So
you know what? His landscapes are so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So great team and such a fun family. And I know the Sharapos are big fans of your publication. I know she has quite a collection of Phoenix Home and Garden magazines. And so I
love that. Yeah.
I think it was something you mentioned in the article.
Yeah, I think we opened with that they had a stack of them, and then had gotten inspiration from them over the years, which we love to hear. And then I think we end with it saying now they'll have one in their stack in their collection featuring their own home. So that's a great full circle detail there as well.
That's pretty cool, right? So yeah. I was wondering too, I guess, we got two masters of the Southwest that worked on this house, both Isabel and I. I was wondering, do you have are we the only couple Southwest masters, or are there some others?
That is such a great question. And I had to comb through the archives before we talked, because I honestly didn't know. And I did find, I think there were possibly two other couples, okay. And then some that might have been couples, and then who knows, but you're definitely the most recent couple. I can give you that.
There you go. Well, we sure have fun working together, don't we, Isabel?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that, I can nudge Isabel in the middle of the night and ask her, what's the baseboard detail we're using on Sharapo's kitchen area? And I get an answer right away. I don't have to wait for an email or. It's pretty nice.
It's efficient and it's fun. We've actually had clients tell us we have our own language, which I think is really funny.
Yeah.
We just kind of grunt, I think, or make small sounds, and then all of a sudden it's, done.
Exactly.
So another one I want to thank you for was this fall when you featured our virtual home tour with the house in Paradise Valley that Isabel and I collaborated on with Desert Star Construction. I noticed it's still up on your website, which is great. We thank you for that, and such a beautiful feature.
Oh, that was so much fun to do. And we have other ones that are in the wings. I think we're filming another one next week, if I'm not mistaken, and then some other ones as well. But those should always be up on the website. And we did that because because of COVID. So last year in November we couldn't do our home tour, and we thought, well, how could we bring this experience to our readers and our website visitors? And so and I remember telling you at the time, you guys were the perfect ones to start out with, because we have a great friendship, and you're great talking about the passion you bring into your projects. So it was a good straight out of the gate one to start with. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, thank you. That was a lot of fun. And I know when we look back at 2020, we had the Masters of the Southwest celebration, I believe was in February, right before the pandemic kind of went wild. I think it was right after we got back from Seattle, Isabel, if I remember right. And we had that wonderful event where Isabel was inducted into the Masters Circle of Fame there. And and then we went in the COVID zone, and you guys did some good pivoting. I mean, I think you did a great job. And then you just had your Masters of the Southwest celebration just about a month ago. And
Actually, we did it in February, and we because of COVID again, we could not do the traditional event, which allows the winners to celebrate with their families and their teams. So we ended up just having a private dinner with them at Juan's at the Hermosa Inn, and we sat outside, and it was such a beautiful evening, and it gave them a chance to get to know each other and get to know us, and vice versa. So I think it was kind of one of those things where necessity was the mother of invention, but it worked out so well that I think going forward we're going to kind of do the same thing. Whereas maybe we'll hopefully have the traditional ceremony with all the teams and all the families and everything. But the night before we're going to continue to do that private dinner. And it just added such a special element to it. I think we all had such a great time.
I love that idea. That's a great idea, actually.
Yeah,
it worked out well. It's such a quick moment that night, and it's kind of a blur. You kind of forget. And I think the dinner would really create some connectivity amongst the people that are being inducted. So it must have been a really wonderful evening.
Yeah. Given that we just kind of, we didn't want to do nothing, and we didn't want to wait until the next year and say, oh, here's last year's winners. We needed to make that evening special for them, and it really, really worked out well. It was fun.
It's always funny how this pandemic, we've learned so much just going through the process of the pandemic, and how many things we've adapted because of it. That we're like, wow, this actually works really well. Let's start doing this all the time.
And exactly. We when we first started going into this, I never in a million years would have believed that we could produce a magazine without everyone being here in the office. And we did it, and we've continued to do it, and we're actually more efficient now than we were before. Has that worked that way with you guys and your teams?
Totally. It's like there's aspects of it that offer great efficiency, and then there's aspects of that you can't replicate by being together in the same room. I mean, there's good and bad about both sides of that. But I find from the efficiency standpoint, I think most of my team have really done well working from home. I think one thing that factors into it is whether they have kids and family that they have to deal with, because that makes it pretty tough. I think the whole school thing at home is really tough for a lot of families, especially if you have 2 or 3 kids at different ages, and then you're trying to get work done, and that's got to be tough. But I think for others, it's been great to just get up at 4 a.m. and get a lot of work done, and crank down at maybe 9 a.m., take a little break, go exercise, and then come back at 3 and work some more. I mean, everyone works at a different pace and in a different way, and this has allowed people to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I like I said, I was just so surprised that we're more efficient than we were.
Yeah,
I miss the collaboration, especially. I mean, we can all agree on this, that because we're being in creative fields and we're so collaborative, I miss that energy.
Right.
But there have been other definite assets to doing it this way.
Exactly. So tell us about some of the events you got coming up this coming year. What are some of the things on the docket for Phoenix Home and Garden?
We've while we are going to continue to do some of the virtual home tours like we did, we've also got the actual home tour. We're planning on that. I believe the first or second weekend in November. Yeah. So I'll be starting to scout those homes. So expect your phone to be ringing, and that's always a fun part of the process.
Yeah, well, Isabel and I just finished a really fun, beautiful little Santa Barbara house on the foot of Camelback Mountain, on the southwest corner of Camelback Mountain, that I think would just be absolutely perfect for your tour. It's not too big, but it's got all these charming details, and so I'm going to dangle that carrot out there.
You will flip over the tile. Oh. Again, you know how we love tiles so much. Oh my gosh, it's like, it just keeps coming, these different geometric ways of doing the pattern with the field tile. And it's just, it has a little bit of a arts and crafts kind of flair to it too, which is fun with it. Yeah, which is fun with so it kind of blended some of that, which is awesome.
Well, this has been recorded, so I'm putting you guys down for this one. I'm putting a check in this box.
Good.
Hey, Mark, I have a kind of a funny story to share with you. I don't remember if you recall a couple of months ago, we were, as I was putting pieces in place for this garden tour. I was following Frank Azami from Sotheby's Realty to visit a prospect for our rest stop. And I was right behind him. There were 4 cars behind me of other people on our staff. I was so proud of the way I was on him. The traffic was working. We were all going to get there in the same time at the same place. I followed him into this home. The gates opened, and a woman that I did not recognize stepped out of the car, and I said, "Are you with?" I was completely befuddled. I didn't know what had happened to Frank. It was like this big switch that had happened, and somehow I had gotten behind her car, which matched Frank's car, and followed her home. The gates opened, and I told her who I was, and she said, "Oh, well, I would love to talk about Phoenix Home and Garden. This is a Mark Candelaria home." And then I said, I would love to see it. Here's my card. And I had to go. It was a very strange and embarrassing event because it was just all so strange. Anyway, she called me a couple of weeks ago, and I went and visited the house on last Friday and got to go inside, and it was beautiful. And we're going to end up publishing probably sometime in 2022.
Yeah, I'm a good manifester, right, Isabel?
You sure are. The 2 of us together are pretty good too.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, thank you. I can't wait to see that one. So we've got some good ones brewing for you. We've got some good ones brewing for you, John, for sure. So I remember that going back to the Masters of the Southwest event last year, Isabel. I remember how you worked up for that whole thing, and you were kind of concerned about giving your acceptance speech, and we did a whole podcast on what you did to prepare for that, which you can go back and listen to. How does it feel now?
I'd love to hear that.
How does it feel now, a year later, being a year away from that event and being a Master of the Southwest for a whole year? What is it meant to you, and how's it changed your look on everything?
I mean, it's nice to be recognized, obviously, and such. I mean, I feel like that is the ultimate kind of recognition you can get in Phoenix as a designer, is to be, named Master of the Southwest. So I just feel more grateful than ever. I mean, everything adds. It's like a reflection that what I'm doing matters, that it's helping people live better lives. It's creating beauty in the world. So those are the things that really drive me and drive my work. And, I love my team, leading my team, and our clients are just incredible people. So all in all, I just feel blessed. It's just amazing, all of it.
It was such a fun evening too. It was we were over at Dorrance Hall at Desert Botanical Gardens. It was just a beautiful evening, fun to reconnect with people in our orbit and meet their families and friends, and just really fun. Mark, I was just trying to go through the archives here. When were you inducted?
It was either 2005 or 6. I always get the dates mixed up. I don't know which one it was. I think it was 5, but I'm not positive. But anyway, what I wanted to say was, I've loved Phoenix Home and Garden all these years. I love how you guys not only show design and beauty, but it's about lifestyle. It's about living the life that we live here in Arizona. And I think one thing that I'm curious about is, I think it'd be interesting to go back and look at some of the early issues of Phoenix Home and Garden and compare what was written about and shown then as to what's being written about and shown now in terms of our lifestyle and how we're living. Because I know in the 40 years I've lived here, this city has changed enormously, and I just know, it's going to keep changing. I hope for the best. I think it's gotten a lot better in terms of what we have in restaurants and chefs and artists and architects. And
definitely.
I just think it's amazing. What's your perspective on all of that, John?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's interesting because frequently, I mean, we have every issue in our archives going all the way back to the first one, and this is our 40th year in publication, and so we did a little bit of a retrospective earlier in the year about kind of highlights and milestones with the magazine. But It's interesting because you can go back to some of those issues, and especially some of that content is so evergreen, like especially the garden content and landscaping. Some of those photos could have been taken today. I mean, there's a timelessness.
Yeah.
Same with the architecture and some of the interior design. I mean, we did go through the Tuscan phase.
Yeah.
That was kind of a big force in a while, and you look at those now and kind of think, oh boy. But then you look at what became of that, and the way that those houses are being redone and adapted and updated, and the bones are still there,
Yep.
which were always strong, and now we're just making it more sensible for today and fitting in today's design aesthetic. But I frequently will go back into old issues. I'll just pick a year at random and take a look at what we were doing then, and it's a great source of inspiration to drive content for today.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where we look like 20 years from now, huh?
I know, seriously.
So what do you think? I mean, where do you see Phoenix going? Do you think that we're going to just keep spreading out, or do you think we're going to start coming back in, or find kind of a middle ground?
I'm definitely optimistic. I hope that it's kind of a middle ground type situation. I've been here in the Valley for about 25 years, and I remember it's like everything would shut down by 7 p.m. and good luck trying to go to dinner or go out or anything. And that was really before we even had a strong interstate system. It seems, I mean, only 25 years ago, but look at the growth that we've gone through. It's amazing. And like you mentioned earlier, just the caliber of talent that is here in the Valley and that is coming to the Valley is awesome. I hope that, I'm not a big city kind of person. I like to visit big cities, but I don't really, I'm not a big city dweller per se. So I hope that we are able to maintain the smaller scale thing that we have going on here, but I hope that the larger scale amenities and benefits from big cities come as well, if that makes sense.
That's where we kind of live, it seems like to me. It's like we're somewhere in the middle of all that. And I think I always feel like we're picking and choosing the best of both worlds, which is great. We got the best of what the town vibe is, but we have also the best of what some of the big cities have, but we're kind of in that nice little middle happy zone. I hope we can stay there.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, and I agree 100%.
Yeah. So Isabel, in terms of what you see, and John also, in terms of design and color and brightness, lightness, indoor, outdoor, those are the things that I kind of see happening and just being more and more embraced in whatever design it is, whether it's traditional or contemporary. Do you agree?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely like a medium wood tone that's back on the horizon. I'm seeing a lot of that, which everything was white there for a while. A lot of color, things that have meaning. I feel like the spaces, maybe after going through the COVID experience last year, it's more meaningful to a lot of our clients. They want to be really comfortable, functional. It's not so much about being showy or those types of things. Just really working well.
Yeah.
Things need to work well and be beautiful. Just be like the most amazing spaces to hang out in. So,
well, I think
that's well put. I would agree.
I think through this whole COVID thing, people rediscovered their home. Don't you, John?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I did a complete remodel of my own after living there for 13 years. But I was, as you were just now speaking, Isabel, I remember that after, I remember hearing interior designers talk about, like after the big crash of around 2009, and people kind of scaled back and they used safe colors and they were kind of cocooning in a way. And after we worked our way out of that, kind of the brighter colors started to pop up because people felt there was more of a safety. They felt more secure about their futures and their homes and where they were going, and that everything was going to be okay. And it's interesting with, you kind of touched on that just now with COVID, and it's interesting to see what is that evolution? I mean, like, will we in 10 years, like you said, Mark, will we be looking at issues from pre-COVID as opposed to post-COVID and be able to clearly identify, oh yeah, well, clearly this was before then. And, that's fascinating to me. And also just the design of homes. And like you said, because so many people are spending so much time at home and they want beauty, they want comfort, and they also want a kind of a different functionality than existed before.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I definitely see that changing. I mean, we're doing so many more home offices, not only for the adults, but Zoom spaces for the kids to get work done, and half of the kids are still doing some of their classes from home, and I think some of that will probably stick around too. I think there'll be some opportunities for kids to not always have to be at school on every given day. So I think the homeschooling will stay in the home, and the home officing will stay in the home. Okay, well, looks like my computer dropped the connection, so we lost John, and I was able to get you back on the Zoom here, Isabel. So I guess we'll just kind of wrap things up. I heard that you and John had a little conversation after I went into the Ethernet world. So
just saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye, and talking about what's coming up and things that are going on. Having him over for dinner. You know me, I'm always inviting people over for dinner.
Yeah, see, you're the culprit, not me.
What do you mean? It's great to be with people.
Oh, I know.
We love to feed people, remember?
We do. We absolutely do. We've had him over for dinner before. It's always a lot of fun to have John over. So we're looking forward to that. So anyway, I'm glad to know we are going on the garden tour. I'm excited. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I know. Especially the weather has been so beautiful. So it'd be nice to just be outside. And then, it kind of fills our tank, right? Because we're enjoying lots of design and lots of thoughts and different things. So, yeah.
And John does a great job with all the tours, and obviously with the Phoenix Home and Garden magazine, which we're always so proud to be part of. And so I want to thank John, although he already cut off. But thanks again, John Roark, for including us in all the features you do and on the home tour. And it's always exciting to be a part of the Phoenix Home and Garden magazine experience. So thanks, John. And thanks, Isabel, for joining us this morning.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Mark.
And we'll post all the connections for the tickets and everything on our story notes and on our website. So definitely get your tickets. Hopefully we will see you there on Saturday. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, John. Sorry we lost you there at the end, but thanks again for your time. It is always a pleasure, and thank you once again for featuring one of our Candelaria Design homes on the garden tour and our Candelaria Design and Earth and Images home in this month's magazine feature. We have some more great podcasts coming to you in the weeks ahead, so stay tuned, and thank you for your continued listening. Our podcast keeps growing nicely. Thank you for the ratings and reviews. We are going to start our contest again for those that give us ratings and reviews. And how about this? Those that give us a rating and review between now and July 1st will get their name in a drawing for one of our Candelaria Design tours. We will cover their round-trip airfare for the tour. I just returned from Oregon, Pinot Country, and we have an amazing tour coming together right there in the heart of wine country. So stay tuned for more details coming on that. So go right now and give us a rating and review along with a subscribe, and then email or direct message me that you did, and we will get your name in the hopper for this drawing. Okay, we do our best to inspire living in everything we do, from our podcast to our cooking classes to our tours, and of course, with our Candelaria Design homes. Okay, have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe, and let's all live our lives with love, compassion, grace, and positivity. See you next week. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. This is how Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. I want to say a big thank you to my good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. I want to thank the Stockett team along with so many others who contributed to the success of our fabulous demonstration kitchen in our new Candelaria design office expansion. You will have to check out our online video cooking classes, and our kitchen is amazing. I've had the pleasure of working with the Stockett team for nearly 40 years on many spectacular projects, and trust me, they are the epitome of excellence when it comes to tile, marble, and granite work, bar none. Their skill and customer service is impeccable, and the bottom line is they are just good people. I have traveled with, dined with, and just had good times, both personally and professionally, with Dave Stockett and his lovely wife, Becky, and they are the best. When it comes to your next tile and stone project, make sure Stockett Tile and Granite is a part of your team. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.